Hey, Yinz guys and gals, gather round for a journey like no other. It's time to hop on board the Where Yinz Goin podcast. From the rivers that meet at the point to form downtown Pittsburgh, to the Great Salt Lake, to the furthest corners of the globe, Matt and Katie will be your compass, your confidants, your companions of that, as we explore the wonders of travel. So kick back, relax on your couch, and let the wanderlust wash over Yinz as we discover new horizons and reminisce about old favorites. With Matt and Katie by our side, the sky's the limit. Join Matt and Katie on the Where Yinz Goin podcast, because when it comes to travel, the journey's just getting started. And now, without further ado, let's give a shout for your guides through the highways and byways of travel, the planning partners, the travel tandem, Matt and Katie.
How Yinz doing? Welcome to the Where Yinz Goin podcast. I'm Matt. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me again today is my co-host Katie and Amanda, who joined us before to talk about the behind-the-scenes tours at Disney, Scary Disney, and the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. So good to talk to you again, ladies.
So happy to be here.
Hey, thanks for having me on again.
So Amanda's we talk about different things with Amanda. So you saw with the rundown, and today's gonna be another different thing, but that's good because different is good. We're going to talk about music, specifically the music that you are going to hear when you are at the Disney parks. So let's dive right into Magic Kingdom and Disneyland and Main Street USA. That the one thing about the music at Disney is it ties in so well with everything else that it helps to set the stage and really put you into the environment that you are in. So the whole complete immersion that Disney fosters, Disney really delivers on it. That it's not just what the buildings look like and what even the trash cans look like or what the ground looks like. That it's also what you're hearing and what you're smelling as well. That it's a complete sensory immersion into your environment.
Well, and I also think that you might not recognize or even know that it's there, but if it's missing, you will recognize that there's something missing. So you might not always focus on like the music because you're rushing down to get the perfect castle shot, or you're trying to find the best churro in the park, or you're trying to enjoy something in Epcot of trying to find like where all of the other activities are. You might not notice the music, but if they stop playing it, you would for sure notice that something was missing.
It's like the soundtrack on a movie. If you ever seen like some specials or special features on movies, whatever, that they show parts of the clips of the movie without the music, that it just does not fit. And while it's not there, you recognize it's not there because of its absence. So you hit the nail right on the head with that thought, Katie.
Yeah, it's like put on the perfect black dress and forgetting your accessories, right? The dress looks great, but you throw on perfect pair of earrings and a great pair of high heels, and it just sets the tone for the whole outfit. So the music is very important, and all the other little things with Disney as well make for a full experience.
Personally, I have my perfect set of the pearl necklace that goes with my black dress too.
Well, and it goes back to Disney being a cartoonist, and a lot of when he made Disneyland, if you talk about like when you're going into Disneyland and going under the train station, there are the posters of the attractions, the coming attractions, which when you hear people talk about entering Disneyland, when we talk about Disneyland, it's like that at the Magic Kingdom as well, but Disneyland originally, because that was Walt's first theme park. You have the coming attractions. Everything he did was for showmanship. So the music in the background was as if you were watching a movie. You were literally walking the red carpet into your own movie. So imagine watching a movie without having the background music. It wouldn't be right.
And then whenever you come out of that tunnel into Disneyland or Walt Disney into the Magic Kingdom, it's like the curtain coming up, or the
Mm.
reveal of the movie starting or the play starting, whatever it's going to be, live theater type thing. And so the whole thing that makes the Disney theme parks so amazing and unique is that it's not so much a theme park as it is storytelling, and it's like consistent storytelling in in real, it's live storytelling as you go through. They brought the features that they used in movie making and cartoon making into the parks, and so it gives you that different atmosphere and it gives you the different feel.
Mm.
I just got off of a 7 night Disney cruise on the Wonder, and we did the Mexican Riviera. And one of the things that I noticed and really just kind of took stock of was on different days, depending on where the ship was located, depending on what port we were in, depending on if it was pirate night, the music just in the halls and the music that was just kind of like enveloping the ship was differently themed to those different sections. And so you would hit certain days where when we were in Puerto Vallarta, it had a more fiesta kind of sound to it. Pirate Night was a lot of like the different pirate soundtracks from different Disney shows and stuff. So very like cool. Like if you really take the time to sit and I mean, I think that we've talked about this a lot on this podcast of the fact that Disney isn't just the attractions, it's not just the shows, it's a full experience. And if you take the time to really sit down, take a few breaths and listen, you can have a whole new experience with somewhere that you might have been 100 times before.
Mm.
And it's not just the music, there's also some sound effects that you'll hear too.
Oh yes. There are sound effects as you're like, for example, as you're walking down Main Street. I know in the Magic Kingdom, I'm not sure if it's the same in Disneyland because the windows are different. I know we've mentioned the windows of Main Street a few times, as we've talked about like the behind the scenes tours. But in the Magic Kingdom specifically, there's one of the windows that's dedicated to a dance studio. And if you listen in that corridor off of Main Street, you can hear the dance instructor, and you can hear voice lessons underneath the music window as well. There's advertising for music lessons. You can hear the music lessons that are not really going all that well. So there's other little things that kind of highlight and enhance your experience as you're going through the parks.
And if you're in Disneyland in Norland Square at the train station, you can hear Morse code being tapped out. And
Yes.
that is the dedication speech that Walt Disney gave on the opening of Disneyland in 1955. So I
Mm.
mean, little things like that just are so perfect. So, but getting back to Main Street, some of the songs you're here are instrumental songs from the early 1990s, like the Wells Fargo Wagon from The Music Man, Hello My Baby that Michigan J. Frog from the Merry Melodies sang. That frog that came to life and would sing whenever for his owner, and then he would just be a normal frog whenever he wanted them to. So, um, shows how old I am, right? Growing up on those cartoons. By the Light of the Silvery Moon, which you'll notice it's sung in Muppet Vision 3D in the pre-show by the 3Ds. There's Meet Me in St. Louis, or Meet Me in St. Louis, if you want to get pronunciation correct, Yankee Doodle Dandy. And that's one of the fun things of since there's no words to it, just the instrumental, that you're hear a tune, it's like, wait, I know that song. What is it? And you're like playing like name that tune throughout the day. I know I've done
Yeah.
that several times. Probably one of my favorite things on Main Street are the Dapper Dans. They're the barbershop quartet that will roam around and they sing songs. And even more than just their awesome voices and their songs, they're funny.
Oh, they're
They do
hilarious
these
to
little
watch.
skits. And there's one, it's on one of the old time like Walt Disney things that they like the Walt Disney Presents and the Wonderful World of Color for Walt back from like the 1960s that they show some of the Dapper Dans. And there's one guy who's completely out of sync with his movements that all the other three put their hat on their head and he's still holding it and then he goes to put it on his head and they take theirs off, and so it's like the guy's like one step behind and he's trying to catch up.
Just the
But
slapstick comedy that they made it
yeah,
perfect.
and even the Disneyland band out in Disneyland whenever they marching on Main Street. They are fabulous. One, they're just great with the music that they play, and their little dancing choreography things, but their interplay with each other of like the trombonist comes out is like, hey, can we play no, sit and we get back, and like the whoever's in charge is kind of like scolding, like the bad kid who gets put in his place.
Yeah.
But that little back and forth things, they're just great. And then getting to the end of Main Street in Magic Kingdom is Casey's Corner, where they have a live piano player who's out playing ragtime songs or the piano versions of some Disney songs too.
And he will actually take requests, which is incredible talent to be able to just pull something out and be able to play it, which always is fantastic to watch. I could sit there and watch the piano player for hours. It's wonderful. They're incredibly talented piano players over there.
I can do chopsticks.
I can't even manage that, so you're doing better than me.
So yeah, just those little nuances in like the Disneyland band. I was hoping they'd stay out longer because just hearing them, and I was like, when they're walking down Main Street, it's like, all right, I'm going to follow them down, and then they start walking to the back stage areas, and they're closing. It's like, no, wait, come back. Can I listen more? No, let's head down to the hub and hang a right and head to Tomorrowland, and specifically in the Carousel of Progress. Of course, we know that there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, that the iconic song written by the Sherman brothers, Richard and Robert. The original vocals were by Rex Allen, who is the voice of the grandfather in the current version. So you can hear, he's still in there. And the current vocals are by a gentleman named Jess Harnell. Now, this was initially created for the 1964-65 World's Fair. At the World's Fair, it was in Progress Land. It was sponsored by GE, opened on April 22nd, 1964, closed October 17th, 1965. It was then moved to Disneyland. It opened on July 2nd, 1967. So actually, all the World's Fair thing attractions that they made, pretty interesting that they built them out in California, shipped them across the country to New York. They then shipped it back to California to install at least 3 of them in Disneyland. And then the Carousel of Progress closed at Disneyland on September 9th, 1973. So only like a 6-year run. And then they went back across the country to Magic Kingdom, where it opened on January 15th, 1975. So Carousel of Progress has gone back and forth across the country, total of 4 cross-country trips.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that like it never usually has a very big line to it. And there's not like there's some people that are diehard Carousel Progress fans. Like
my 5-year-old is a diehard,
yeah.
Which I did not expect that on his trip. He's like, let's go in here. What's this? And then we stayed on for about 5 rotations, and I never thought that I would be sick of that.
But it's the best place to like catch your breath a little bit. It's the best place to feel like if you feel like when you're doing a Disney trip that like the crowds are a little overwhelming or you're just overwhelmed yourself and you need like a spot to just kind of take it in a little bit and you don't want to wait in a like huge long line. So you want to make the best of your time doing something, but you don't want to do something like too intense or anything. It's really just kind of a little delightful like nod back to like nostalgia and the things that Disney did so well when they first started.
And Amanda, my little girl, likes it too, but that's just mainly because she likes dogs, and there's a dog in every scene.
Dog.
So she likes seeing the dogs. And the other nice thing is kind of what Katie said is whenever they're in, it's hot in the summer, it's air conditioned.
Yes.
And something we experienced this past January when it was really cold out, it was a little bit warmer in there too. So it's a controlled environment with the temperature. But it as was mentioned before, whenever the other lines are too long and you're just cannot wait in another line, this one really has one. You get to sit down, take a load off for, was it close to a 20-minute attraction?
So, yeah.
And so you get to sit for a while, you get to relax, you get to take in a little show, you get to see, it's in Tomorrowland, but a lot of this would really fit, like at the corner of Tomorrowland and Main Street USA, of how they're, taking you back to the 1900s. That
Yeah.
it's there since it is such a classic attraction, there's just something to it.
I kind of
It's
call
been there.
them like my filler attractions. So, like I was saying, like if you're overwhelmed or the lines are just too long or you just need to catch your breath, those filler attractions, they fill in a spot, right? They're never going to be the like big ticket, like huge draws, but things like the Carousel Progress,
The
the
Tiki Room,
the Tiki Room,
which is on one of my favorites too.
the people mover, right? They're all things that like sometimes when you do a trip, they're the ones that you just are like, we do not miss the people mover no matter what. It is a must do. And like the best place, I think we've had some of like the best conversations of what do you want to do next? What are your best, what made you happy today? What frustrated you? And like a place to kind of regroup as like a group and get back to it. So these attractions they're very important. They're the things that like they fill a space, but they sometimes become the best part of the trip too.
Because you can actually breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been there forever. So it's familiar. It's one of the things that doesn't change unless it does, because from 1975 to 1994, they did not have It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow as the music. It was The Best Time of Your Life. So my first time there, that's the song I heard. And then whenever the new one was like, hey, there's a new song, little didn't know, 15-year-old me didn't know that this was the original.
Mm.
So, but we have to have another episode where we talk about the most underrated attractions. Because Katie, People Mover, oh yeah, it's up there.
So
Yeah.
good.
I also wanted, I don't know how much they overlap, but I have one planned that it's gonna be relaxing Disney, of things you can just go and like kind of chill out at the parks.
I've done that.
Yeah.
So,
That's how many times I've been to Disney.
and now the general background music throughout Tomorrowland, they use updated instrumental versions of the songs from both past and present Tomorrowland attractions. So, and then you also throughout the um, different lands, you also get some instrumental versions of songs from the different Disney movies that kind of fit that land. So in Tomorrowland, you'll get the Miracles from Molecules, which is from Adventure Through Inner Space. Strange Things, that's on Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. The Best Time of Your Life from the Carousel Progress. If You Had Wings. Seize the Future from Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. The Monorail song from the Disney Monorail. And then there's also in Disneyland, I specifically recognize that they have some Star Wars music. In particular, the Cloud City music on Bespin. I remember hearing that the one time I was out there. Now jumping over to Fantasyland, so we're gonna make a nice, well, at least go counterclockwise a bit. That the music you'll hear in the general area is Mickey Mouse March from the Mickey Mouse Club. Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf from the Three Little Pigs, which my little girl loves that cartoon. That we found it on Disney Plus, and there was a time that that was like the only thing she would watch again and again and again and again. So I can say that for verbatim. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo from Cinderella, The Bare Necessities from The Jungle Book, the medley from Babes in Toyland, another one from Robin Hood, When You Wish Upon a Star from Pinocchio, Chim Chim Cheree from Mary Poppins, along with Spoonful of Sugar and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
And at the hour of 3 o'clock, you hear toddlers that have missed their 3 o'clock nap medley. The 3 o'clock parade and the 3 o'clock screaming of small children that are in the most magical place on earth and the happiest place on earth, depending on which park you're in. Yep.
But they don't appreciate that. Like, this is the happiest place on earth. You cannot cry. It's like the League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in Magic
Actually,
Kingdom.
I don't know what this says about my parenting journey, but we actually have now, anytime we're in Magic Kingdom or Disneyland Park, we have a $5 bet of the first person that can spot the 3 o'clock screamer. And yeah, it doesn't take very long. We can make bank $5 every time we go in. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we always
We
had
gotta
the
pay
bet
for
who's
it.
going to have the first meltdown in the family. So, tell you
Usually
what kind of family I'm growing up in.
usually it's my husband. So
Me or my father. Yes, go either way. The other thing that I love in Fantasyland is the carousel music,
yeah.
because as the carousel goes, you have the carousel version of all the classic Disney songs. It's always my favorite to sit and listen to.
Or if you're like my family, while you're riding it
Well, yes,
5, 6, 7 times in a row.
yes, naturally.
Now, nicely, my little girl she still loves it, and we still have to ride it every time. But
Mhm.
there are whenever she was a little bit younger and couldn't go on quite as many things, that's about all she wanted to do. So now there's other things that she's ridden. She's like, oh no, hey, do you want to do this instead? And we can usually convince her
Yeah.
after just a few rides. And I think this next one's everyone's favorite. It's a Small World, written by, again, the famous Sherman Brothers. The working title was Children of the World. The ride was created for so It's a Small World. The ride was created for UNICEF for the 1964 World's Fair, and a third verse was recently added to the Disneyland attraction, uh, or it's coming to Disneyland for the 70th anniversary. It's going to be July 17th of this year. Although they announced they're starting some of it early, so
Mm,
a couple months early. Was it May 16th is whenever things are starting,
yeah.
correct?
Yeah. May 16th.
And now, on average, actually May 16th, that's my parents' wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary, mom and dad.
You're getting a new verse of It's a Small World.
Exactly. Just what they always wanted. And now, on average, this song is played 1,200 times per day during an average 16-hour working day.
And it plays in your head if you get on it one time in the day, it plays in your head probably double that amount of times. It's like an earworm that's like the worst. It
Mm.
And,
never stops.
and I'm sure that more than half the people out there who are listening, so that's both of them, just by mentioning the name of it, it's already running in their heads.
Yeah.
The funny story
You're
about it,
welcome.
Small World. I have a great one. So, Walt Disney World version. So, my best friend when we were growing up had never been to Walt Disney World. So, I took her on her first trip as adults. And my mother was with us. And it is my mother's favorite ride in Walt Disney World is It's a Small World. So my parents were with us and she's like, come on, you got to go on It's a Small World. It's my favorite ride. My best friend has no idea what's coming. So she's like, okay. So we get about halfway through and I just feel her eyes on me and I turn and she looks at me and she goes, I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump. And to this day, if we go to Disney, she will not go on that ride. And if I am in Disney without her, I absolutely will take a video and send it to her. And she has no idea what's coming.
Like the new version of Rickrolling somebody.
Oh, yes.
And side note, please do not jump out of the boats into the water. That has happened with some people in the past, and
Yes. There was a
they,
viral TikTok
well,
video at one point.
there were a couple of viral ones, yeah. Now the good thing is, if you really never want to ride that attraction again, get out of the boat. But then you will never go to Disney World or Disneyland again.
Mm.
So, yeah. So don't do that, please. Now over by Dumbo, you get circus music. At the Mad Tea Party, you get music from Alice in Wonderland. And of course, the Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid gives you Little Mermaid songs like Part of Your
Mhm.
World, Poor Unfortunate Souls, and Under the Sea. I love the music from that movie. There are so many great songs. Under the
Yeah.
Sea, Kiss the Girl, those are my favorites.
Although it always makes me laugh and Kiss the Girl. Poor Eric must have been so confused because, I mean, Ariel knows what all the animals are saying, but poor Prince Eric is just like, what is happening?
Never really thought of it from his perspective. Yeah.
It's not
Well,
my original idea. My 5-year-old was watching The Little Mermaid the other day, and that's what came out of his mouth. So
kids speak the truth sometimes,
very
often
much
when you don't
so.
want them to. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train has Hi Ho. Peter Pan has You Can Fly. So you get to hear some of your favorites from songs, and we haven't even talked about Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Mickey's PhilharMagic. As Donald is going through the movies, they have the music from a lot of the
So yeah,
movies. Yeah. And the Mickey Mouse Club is
yep.
played at the beginning and the end.
Now continue our journey into Liberty Square. There's patriotic music like Yankee Doodle, I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy, Stars and Stripes Forever. And then the Haunted Mansion takes a little bit of a twist away from that with Grim Grinning Ghosts. Also, and then subtitle or in parentheses, the Screaming Song. So lyrics here were made by Xavier Atencio, so X Atencio is how he's normally called, and the music was by Buddy Baker. So a few Disney legends in there. And the whole
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
I tried really hard. I came close, but I ultimately failed at Haunted Mansion trivia on the Disney Wonder. I wanted the medal and I was robbed. I was completely robbed. And I had even like crammed for it the night before.
You should have listened to our old podcast, man. Come on.
It is.
Yeah, a whole podcast on the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, but here's the thing, like even your podcast, even the greatness of the podcast would not have got me through. There's just some hardcore mansioners that, yeah, it came down to like a winner takes all around. It was, yeah. Anyways, I digress.
Name the three hitchhiking ghosts.
Yep, that was one of the questions. I got
Oh
that one.
wow.
Yeah. They like went 20 for 20 and it was like 3 rounds. Like the poor like host was like, I don't know, there's nothing else I can say about this. So then some guy in the back gave like another question that was like totally off the wall. Anyways, moving on. Hall of Presidents.
So of course, hail to the Chiefs there, and they actually made some custom music for this attraction that's it's played.
Yes.
Same thing with Liberty Tree Tavern, that there are they made music for these different areas. So that just says something that okay, it's like all right, yeah, we could use this music worked right here because it was from that movie, and this one kind of fits in this atmosphere, and here let's just make something to make it fit here. Okay, that
I
says
mean,
something about the dedication.
yeah,
So sorry, man, I stepped on you there.
they are Disney. They can just do what they want.
That's true. And now moving into Frontierland, they have both types of music, country and western. No, so things like Home on the Range, Get Along Little Doggies, Deep in the Heart of Texas, Back in the Saddle Again. And there's a whole bunch of other songs here too that they'll play. These are just some of the more common ones that I recognized. And now one of the most exciting things I think about Frontierland and music is the Country Bear Musical Jamboree,
I am a
which
hardcore Country Bear musical jamboree fan. I
uh,
did it in September, like to experience the newness of it all. It was great.
oh, this I was never really a huge fan of the older ones, the older version of it, mainly because whenever I was little and Big Al comes out and sings "Blood on the Saddle," it just like it just did not sit with me. I was like, wait, blood, where is this? Well, where? How is this happening? No, so it scarred me for life. Okay, just most of my life. But the new songs with the reimagination of these songs, of changing them from whatever genre they are into a little bit more of a country song, and the ones that they picked to do this, oh, chef's kiss to that
It
great.
worked.
Oh, it more than worked. This is elevated so much higher that this is now something I'm going to want to do all the time. It's about the old country bear is like, yeah, I haven't done it in a few years, I might as well sit through it, and I'll hear it again. But this one, it's like I want to go there because these are familiar songs, and they're good familiar songs. Now there is a new one, the Country Bear Musical Jamboree. They made a new song just titled that. But try everything from Zootopia, Kissed a Girl from Little Mermaid, which I mentioned before, A Whole New World from Aladdin, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious from Mary Poppins, Fixer Upper from Frozen, Remember Me from Coco, You've Got a Friend of Me from Toy Story, The Bare Necessities from Jungle Book, which fits perfectly for that. Now, Big Al, he comes out sort of with blood on the saddle. He tries to get that rendition in, but There's also Come On, Come Again, and Come On In, which is the transition song between shows. But I was very happy with Kiss the Girl. Whenever there's another podcast I listen to, and we've had Dewey on from the um, WW Reflections podcast, and they were talking about this the one time, and they asked their listeners to submit what you think the songs will be this before it came out. And Kiss the Girl, that's the first thing that popped into my mind. It works so well. Then moving over to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, they have a combination of music from The Princess and the Frog, and they have new music for the attraction. Which, by the way, I liked Splash Mountain, but the new one with Tiana's, it's good. I like what they did with it.
Yeah.
That's what you really think about it.
I mean, we know how I feel about old Disney, so
Yeah.
I'm a purist. I'm sorry.
No, I see why they made the change.
Well, yes, with that, yes, that was a
even-
necessary, like, we needed to come into the current times.
But
And
even with the Song of the South,
that was
so I
Yeah.
mean the show so there are whenever you watch some movies on Disney Plus, they have the disclaimer of the different stereotypes and things, but
yeah, that was a little much.
now some of the things are historically accurate though. Like in Swiss Family Robinson, they said our portrayal of like the pirates. It's like, okay, they're in the South Pacific. This is what the pirates are doing. So that's who the pirates would look like. I don't know how you get around that. Although, neat thing about that is if you listen to the things that the pirates are saying, they're actually using certain Indonesian and Malay words.
Yes.
So they did get that correct. They're climbing the mountain, and the one part's like atas, atas, and in Indonesian and Malaysian, they're very similar. They share a lot of commonalities, but that means up. So he's telling them to go up the mountain. So it was pretty neat. I watched it. It was like, hey, called my wife over. Listen to this. It's like they wouldn't say it like that. It's like, yeah, but still, okay.
It kind of works. They tried really hard.
Now on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, there are 8 songs that you'll hear during the queue, including one from Old Yeller, Pecos Bill, and Old Betsy from Davy Crockett. So if you ever watch any of the old Davy Crockett stuff. Moving on into Adventureland, there is adventurous music, like the quote unquote adventurous music, like The Lion Sleeps Tonight, The Circle of Life from Lion King, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, also from The Lion King, You'll Be in My Heart by Phil Collins from Tarzan, The Cave of Wonders by Alan Menken, another Disney legend from Aladdin. And then in Pirates of the Caribbean, Yo Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me, written by Ex Atencio, music by George Bruns, and vocals, this is interesting, by the Mellow Men, Mellomen, featuring Thurl Ravenscroft. And so this was a quartet founded by Thurl Ravenscroft and Max Smith in 1948. They were active from 1948 to the mid 1970s, and they sang backup for like the biggest acts of the time. So, and they're singing on the Yo Ho.
Yeah.
I love Pirates of the Caribbean, and I love the song. It's just so like I don't know.
It's just classic. It's just
it's just such a good one, right?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing whenever they change this attraction that I never saw why. It's like, oh no, their pirates are they're being chauvinistic and womanizing. It's like, what do you expect pirates to do?
I do actually like that change. I think Red is a great character.
Yeah. Well,
I appreciate that.
I think it adds comedy now that the women are chasing the men and beating them
I
up. So
think
it shows
that's
they're very incompetent pirates. So it adds comedy to it, which is what Disney does very well with a lot of these things. So I'm not upset about it, but it's like,
do you know what my favorite in Pirates, and it's so dumb. I love the pirate that is sitting with the pig.
Oh,
In the corner, just like chilling with the pig. Like has had a hard day of pirating and has
he's just
enjoyed
hanging out.
the rum a little too much and was like, I'm gonna find this little spot. And then you ask yourself the question, what came first, the pirate or the pig? It's just a whole you're gonna write it, and the next time you're gonna do it, write it. You're gonna pay attention to the pirate, the pig, and you're gonna ask those questions in your head. What came first, the pirate or the pig?
It's more than just one pig, I think, too. There's a couple sitting around.
Pigs.
But yeah, he has his arm over
that's
one
like
of them.
front and center. That's like the biggest, like would make the
Oh,
best
yeah, the big one.
sandwich. Yeah.
Now I see where Katie's mind's going.
Right? Yeah. It's lunchtime over there.
Yeah.
But no, I think the pig was sitting there and the pirate came in like, that's a good spot to sit, pig. I'm going to come sit with you. And just put his arm around him.
Make room.
Yeah. And as was mentioned before, there's Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, which the song, the Tiki 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 Room, written in 1963. Lyrics again by the Sherman Brothers, vocals by the Mellow Men. But I also found a place where they gave credit to Wally Bogue, Fulton Burley, and Ernie Newman, and then Thurl Ravenscroft as the singers. So I'm not sure how the Mellow Men adjusted, but Wally Bogue was a big Disney comedian. He was in several shows, and he was one of the original cast members on the Golden Horseshoe, or the
yes.
Was it now the music Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review? Thank you. There we go. And there's also Let's Sing Like the Birdies Sing. And again, there's more songs that are now in your head. Yeah. Hopefully they've driven out
the other one.
The other one. Won't mention it. The song that will not be named. Moving around to the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse is the Swiska Polka. And then over in Disneyland with the Norland Square, they have music that evokes the French Quarter. And interesting here is that they have different versions of this music at day and at night. And then there's live bands as well, the Bootstrappers and the Jambalaya Jazz. And this falls into tradition of the Firehouse 5+2 that were in Disneyland back whenever it first opened. When that was like some of the cartoonists in what became Imagineers, and they were in a band and they played. And then, of course, at night, there's Happily Ever After, which has music from Disney movies. And it's not just the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland that has this. It's all the parks. So over in Epcot, specifically where the music I think stands out fabulously is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears, Iran, and then So Far Away by Flock of Seagulls, Disco Inferno by the Tramps, Conga by the Miami Sound Machine, One Way or Another by Blondie, and then September by the Earth, Wind, and Fire. I've heard Disco Inferno and Conga. I like Conga the best.
I've gotten Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Iran, Disco Inferno, Conga in September.
Ooh, you
got one more.
No, and here's the thing. The ride is not different. Like it's the same ride.
It's just the song.
but it feels different depending on like the music fits so well, and like there's just a different vibe to it depending on what you get.
It seems like the music will emphasize different aspects of the ride.
Yeah.
And so it's like a different part where the music really picks up here, and so you're like we're into it. That I agree. It's the same track, but a different ride experience based on the song.
Yep. I'm never going to experience more than one song, so I'm good.
And a little bit of breaking news here. Amanda will not be on the episode when we talk about the Disney roller coasters, okay?
No. I've ridden it once. That's it.
Once is enough. That's okay.
Once is enough. Y'all got me on there. I'm good. Lindsay would not let me leave. I was not allowed to hit the chicken exit.
Hey, it's the old thing of you can't say you don't like it until you tried it. So you've tried it.
I've done almost every ride at Disney now. What have I not done? I don't even know.
I don't think we've ever done the train to Rafiki's Planet Watch in Animal Kingdom. We were going to do it this time. We tried to do it this time. It's not the
same though. That's the problem. Rafiki's Planet Watch used to be way better than it is now. So, I mean, personally, it's not worth it, but go and experience it if you must.
I have an animal crazy 5-year-old, and there's a petting zoo out there.
You got a petting zoo.
So yeah, that's what we tried to do. We got just there too late. We got
wrapped up doing other things earlier in the day. That's right.
So didn't quite work.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to do your Wilderness Explorer badges.
Yeah, they're big. Next up with Epcot is the Journey into Imagination, and the original song "One Little Spark," which was again another Sherman Brothers song. There's little hints of it in the attraction now, but again, I think we know where Amanda stands on this. Disney
Yes.
purist, bring it back. The Dream
I think
Catcher.
that ride needs an overhaul. I think we need the Dream Catcher back or Dream Finder back.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love my little purple dragon, but that ride just really needs an overhaul. Although I'm glad you can meet him now. I finally got to meet him last time. I was very happy.
Although the play area after
That is a fun play
that is
area,
really nice.
yes.
And if you're a Disney Vacation Club member, you can go into the lounge that's up there too. That's pretty neat up there.
Yeah.
Now, Soren, this is in the queue. You get instrumental versions of songs that are related from Disney songs related to flying, like "The Flight to Neverland" by Hook, which is written by John Williams, my favorite composer of all time.
Oh.
There's the Rocketeer theme, which I just watched that movie a little while ago. I was like, I haven't seen that in a while, and the music in that is it's perfect for that movie.
Yeah.
Again, talking before about the songs that just fit, and if some things are off, it just does not fit. And the music there just fits.
Yeah. That music, you're right. That soundtrack is just perfect.
And then on the attraction itself, you get music by Jerry Goldsmith, who, among other things, he's like one of the great movie score composers of the past, 60, 70 years that and among his credits are the music for Hoosiers and the movie Rudy. And I listened to that. It's funny that I have it on my playlist, and as we're listening to music in the car driving around, my little girl's like, "Is this just music? Let's skip it. There's no words." I'm like, when you see the movie, you will appreciate this. Okay. So first, when you can sit through a movie, then we'll get to that. But yeah, he's a close second behind John Williams.
Mm.
And then the World Showcase, the music is inspired by the countries that you're in, or it's actually from those countries.
Mm.
So like Frere Jacques in France, O Sole Mio in Italy, or something I really love are the drummers in Japan.
They are incredible.
Oh, they're fabulous to watch.
Oh, I could listen to a drum line all day long, like with a marching band. So hearing those big drummers, we caught their performance last time, and my wife was like, "Let's go get food." I was like, "Okay, I'm coming." Walking very slowly as I listen. But we got food in Japan, so I still got to hear it while we were eating. So like, here, you go order. I'll get the table and reserve that for us and save it. But yeah, they are completely awesome. In the American Adventure, during the actual show, the two brothers and then Golden Dream are two of the songs that stand out to me. And then there's the Voices of Liberty, which are an a cappella group that'll sing at different times throughout the day.
Yeah.
And highly recommend that.
They're fantastic to listen to. I follow their hiring on Instagram, and I've really questioned my life. The last time I told my husband, I'm like, I'm gonna go audition, and he's like, no, you're not moving to Florida. I'm like, why do you hate me? Like, I could go work for Disney, please. Like,
Hey,
that's
you
my
got the
dream
pipes.
job in Disney. Like, you can be the Jungle Cruise skipper. I'm gonna be the Voices of Liberty. I'm good.
And don't worry, you have no worries about me taking your job, because me and singing, it's just no. I could sing professionally, but it would be me singing and someone paying me to leave. And now with the Nighttime Spectacular with Luminous, they have several different artists, including a guy named Pinar Toprak, Pinartoprak, who created the music for the entrance to Epcot. So if you hear familiar themes, the music when you first come into Epcot, it was, again, specially created music for a specific area.
And yes, because I do know this, there is a Spotify playlist for all of the background music in Epcot.
And pretty much, and different attractions and pretty much anything. Yeah.
Yes.
Not just Epcot. You can, if you need to take your um, virtual journey to a Disney park, and if you want to do just the audio version, if you're at work and you just have to put some headphones on,
There's a
if your job
Spotify
allows that.
playlist for it. I am usually at Disney World while I'm at work.
It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
Right?
Sometimes we're literally at Disney World while we're working. Sacrifices we make.
Oh,
All
so
right,
hard.
now we can head out the back entrance, the back door to Epcot by the International Gateway, and we either take a Friendship, the Skyliner, or take a nice little stroll over to Hollywood Studios, where Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. I'm sorry it's going to be leaving soon, but some of the songs there are
Good
nine.
riddance. Goodbye.
Again, Amanda, not a roller coaster fan. Nine
I
Lives,
might have
Sweet
to write it
Emotion. Oh,
for the
good.
Muppets. I don't know.
Yeah, whenever it becomes Muppets, well, it'll be a different attraction, so you have to ride it to say
So
you
I'll
did
have
it
to write
once.
it again. And I mean, I do love the Muppets. So
I'm sure interested to see what they do with that and if they put music in too.
they need to make it. I'm sorry. You can't not make it Electric Mayhem. Come
Well, they
on.
have to be involved somehow. Yeah.
It's perfect.
But for the current songs with Aerosmith, there's Nine Lives, Sweet Emotion, Back in the Saddle, and Dude Looks Like a Lady as a combo, Love in an Elevator and Walk This Way, and then Young Lust, Fine, or So Fine, and Love in an Elevator together. So I don't think I've heard all those, but I've heard most of them. I know Sweet Emotion, and I remember hearing Dude Looks Like a Lady and Love in an Elevator. I think Walk This Way too. So those are other songs. They all work. Of course, you're going, 60 miles an hour or whatever it is with upbeat rock music. So yeah, it's going to work.
Hmm.
And then the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, again, another Mandeville's favorite that we talked about extensively. They have the eerie music, and you'll hear the Twilight Zone theme get played.
And that's my one opt out. I don't write that. I write it, but it's not my thing. I don't like it. I don't like my stomach and my toes. I don't like it.
Yeah, but
Well,
just the ambiance is so perfect.
It is like the best. Like I always like stand in line in both versions of it in both parks.
Just
I
like the
stand in
chicken egg.
line, but then and like the last time we rode it, I didn't chicken out. My husband was like, from now on, you are totally allowed to chicken out because my forearm is now pocked with your nails. So
Right.
yeah, I just don't like it. Okay.
so
Anyways,
Katie, you don't like your stomach in your toes, but what about whenever your stomach like comes up to your throat then?
I don't like that
No.
either. I don't like that. And for some reason, both the Tower Tour and the one in Disneyland too, the
Mission
Gala
Outbreak. Yeah.
outbreak, for some reason. So here's the thing. I don't even know if I should share this. It feels like dark to me. But I'm like, if there's people in front of me, if it all goes bad, at least I can bounce off of them. But no, I always have to like, I'm always in the front row, no matter what. Like, no matter how, every time I've ridden it, and I've probably ridden it 6 or 7 times, and I'm always in the front row. So yeah,
Oh,
don't like it. Okay.
Although with the double decker ones in Disneyland, if you're on the bottom one, you don't have as quite as far to fall. And if you're on the top
Yeah.
one, you have
Yeah.
someone to land on. So
Oh,
so it could go either
either
way.
way.
yeah.
And again, we take a little dip
The
into
darkness.
Katie's mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It totally is not like it's just an irrational thing, but yeah, it's just better for me and all of the people that are trying to enjoy their ride for me not to be on it. So, anyways.
Well, don't worry, Katie. My wife loves that attraction, so she can ride it in your place anytime you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, going to a little bit of a happier attraction with Beauty and the Beast. And so
Yes.
prologue has beauty with Beauty and the Beast. So the beginning, you're gonna hear the instrumental version of that, and then throughout the play, it's Belle, Gaston, Be Our Guest, Something There, and then the mob song. And at the end, they have the Beauty and the Beast song again with vocals, but this is the Celine Dion and Peebo Bryson version, not the one sung by uh, Mrs. Potts. And I don't know when they got rid of this, but I remember back in the 80s, or excuse me, the 90s, they had an opening act for this. They were called Four for a Dollar. There was a singing opening act. And the way
Hmm.
they did was pretty interesting. They acted like they were just stage crew setting up the microphones. And then the one, they were doing like check check and stuff. And then the one guy came like did a like some sound effects of like a horse galloping, and then the people kind of applauded, and so he kind of like fed off of that. And then he starts doing a little doo wop stuff and starts singing. And then another comes out and does it. And another guy comes out, and they end up singing December 1963 by the Four Seasons, and they were fabulous.
Yeah, I remember that a long time ago.
So bring them back or
Right?
someone else.
Because otherwise you're just kind of sitting there waiting for the show to start.
Yeah, and it was not a neat little surprise, kind of like you get on spoiler, well, not anymore, but on Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, whenever they had the plant, one of the actors who was one of the volunteers. There's like that little thing you don't expect, and there's a twist on it.
Mm.
Although speaking of Indiana Jones, they have a lot of suspenseful music throughout that the attraction throughout the show, but there's also the Indiana Jones soundtrack, like the Raiders March, which again, more John Williams.
John Williams is just one of a kind.
In Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, they have 8 songs written by a gentleman named Christopher Willis, and including the Nothing Can Stop Us Now song that's kind of like the theme for it. So again, creating more music for the attraction. And then this is potentially my little girl's, well, it's tough to tell her favorite because everything is her favorite. But for the first time in forever, the Frozen sing along.
Mm.
That I love that I love that show. That is the comedy in that. So
And oh, the hosts are hysterical.
the historians. So if I cannot be the Jungle Cruise skipper, I want to do this
That might
because
be, yeah.
I cannot sing, but the guy historian never has to sing anything.
Oh, he's hysterical.
So in the songs, Do You Want to Build a Snowman, For the First Time in Forever, Love is an Open Door, Let It Go, of course, and then In Summer. Yeah, I'm waiting for summer too, when
Yeah.
I'll be a happy, you know, how's it go?
Snowman.
Yeah, with the cuddle, and then I'll be a happy
Huddle.
snowman. Oh no. So then, of course, on Star Tours, more Star Wars music. Although there's a John Williams music there, but then the Star Tours theme was written by a gentleman named Richard Bellis. So it's a little bit different. Galaxy's Edge, again, new music written by John Williams. Rise of the Resistance, new music by John Williams. And Smuggler's Run has Star Wars music and some new music by John Williams. Sorry, I'm screaming.
Yeah.
Am I yelling? I'm yelling. I'm sorry. I'm excited. Not angry. It's exciting. So moving over to and the music there in Galaxy's Edge, it just fits so well.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Again, because it's by the same composer who created the music for almost all the Star Wars movies, it has a theme, it has a feel.
It feels, yes. And then you can't go past the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge area without mentioning our favorite DJ at the Oga's Cantina.
Who had just a short journey from
just a short
Star
journey
Tours.
from Star Tours, if you recognize him.
So good old Rex.
Yes. And yes, there is actually, I'm not sure where it streams, but you can actually listen to his you can listen to him DJing live from Oga's Cantina.
And speaking of DJs, we forgot to mention over in Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
go ahead. Would you care to?
Well, Cosmic Rays.
Of course. So yeah, that's entertaining.
Favorite
too.
lounge singer.
Yes, indeed. Now, continuing our journey through Galaxy's Edge into Toy Story Land, they have instrumental versions of some of the Toy Story songs written by, again, Disney legend, Randy Newman. So You Got a Friend in Me and Woody's Roundup. And then in Toy Story Midway Mania, there is Midway Mania, which is sung by Miss Potato Head, who's Don Rickles. And they have like kind of westernish music. Same thing with On the Ride. And they have some of the music from the movies too. And then on Slinky Dog Dash, which again, my little girl's absolute favorite. You've Got a Friend with Me with Squeaker at the end, the little
Yes.
penguin. And then Alien Swirling Saucers has some Toy Story music as well. Over in Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park, it's mostly new music that they've made. So we're not going to go into too much detail because you won't really recognize the artist um, or the song titles or anything. But they do have some songs from The Lion King and The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Although Festival of the Lion King, uh, they do have Lion King music. Most of it has the full vocals, so they go through the whole songs. And then you'll hear "I Just Can't Wait to Be King," the instrumental version at the end, whenever everyone's leaving, and written by Elton John or sung by Elton John. And then there's a little bit new music with the Tumble Monkeys, and those guys are well, guys and
Oh, they're
gals. I'm not sure
fabulous.
what they are. They are so great.
That's one of my favorite shows to watch when I go to Animal Kingdom.
We got to see that for the first time this time around. We tried to see it a couple times in the past, and the line was just too long or whatever else. Um, like during COVID, it was shut
Mhm.
down and they didn't have everything. So we finally got to see it in full. And of course, this was the day that my little girl just did not want to be there, and she was tired and crabby. So, but I enjoyed it. Although she did come around that one of the stilt walkers was like right next to us and was waving and doing stuff. So she kind of got into that, and then she loved it whenever the monkeys came out. And she kept asking, "Can we see the monkeys again? Can they come over here? I want to meet them." And the one
Um,
guy like scratches his armpit, then smells it, and so that's like her new thing. Mommy, can you do that? It's like, Daddy, stretch. I'm like, no, okay, fine.
And then the new show that we finally watched for the first time, the Finding Nemo puppet show, they have new music that they wrote specifically for that as well. They have some of the songs from Finding Nemo, the instrumental music, but they wrote Go with the Flow, which Henry runs around the house singing that all the time now. It's really cute, actually. The show is fabulous.
It was so good. It was like one of those ones that like you forget like how it works.
Yeah.
So like just immersed in it. It's a good one. I love it.
I know some people who are not big fans of that, mainly because they fixate on the people and the puppeteers. But if
Yeah,
you let
just gotta
yourself
let it
just
go.
But if you, you gotta
As
let
Henry
go.
would
the wrong
say,
movie,
you gotta go with the flow.
Ooh, there you
yeah,
go.
there we go, getting the right one there. But yeah, it's and I don't think they're very. The people who I've heard that from are not big theater fans anyway. So it's like, yeah, do we have to? I could be on another, I could be doing the Everest again, and they was kind of reluctant. So that's, they were in the wrong mindset. But if you go with the proper one to look at it, they're great. I mean, the same thing with you're gonna hear this talked about in a couple weeks whenever we talk about the Disney Treasure with our friend Mandy, that and her cruise on that of the new Moana show and the puppeteering on that. That
Mm.
oh my goodness, it's on Disney Plus now. If you want to get a sneak preview.
If you've seen Lion King on Broadway or any of the Broadway adjacent productions, it is kind of the same, like I would say more epically, but and like Frozen on the Broadway and Broadway adjacent productions, like they can't do it without him. Like so, like they can't do justice to those stories without some kind of like puppeteering and
Mm.
just and they're incredible.
Otherwise, it's some guy in a mask.
Yeah, it doesn't
In
work.
this, yeah, it makes it more. It makes it more real. I agree. That's not way of saying it, Katie. You just can't do it without this.
Yeah.
Now, over in Disneyland Resort with Disney California Adventure Park on Buena Vista Street, it's 1940s music, and they have Five and Dime, which is the little group that sings, and they're jazz music, and they're great too. And Avengers Campus, easy for me to say. They have mixes of the themes from the different movies. Cars Land has music from the movie Cars. They have some new music they made, and there's also Route 66 by Chuck Berry that you'll hear.
Yes. And then my favorite part is every night at sunset, they light the neon to Shaboom from the movie,
Yes.
just like they do in the movie. It's absolutely magical.
Well, talk about taking something out of the movies and being immersive.
Literally.
That walking down into Cars Land and walking down the main drag there is like being in Radiator Springs. That is so perfect.
It is
I always
amazing.
say, like, if you're like a huge Galaxy's Edge fan and you like recognize the like how well it's themed and you haven't experienced Cars Land, like Cars Land is one of those times where Disney just nailed it. I mean, they nailed it from the concrete under your feet to the lights above your head and all the little like details and just the little pieces that make it like perfect from like all the little girls and boys that love to watch the show to the little old guys that love it too and like have experienced the nostalgia of Route 66. It's perfect.
Oh, and even
Yeah.
more perfect is the attraction that they really nailed. Radiator Springs Racers. It's like Test Track, which I love, just better.
Yeah,
That
it's
the
like they took Test Track and like
They
souped it
plussed it.
up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The and the instrumental music you get when you're going through the desert sets. It sets it so perfectly for like this leisurely drive on a Sunday. Just oh, another chef's kiss. Mwah.
Mm.
Going on what just Katie said about the atmosphere, it's also Toy Story Land that they did a fabulous job on there of like the Andy's footprints on the concrete and every all the little details of giant Tinker toys and the Christmas lights being the lights that are holding things up and a giant ball that's just sitting there and even in Pandora over in Animal Kingdom.
Well, Pandora, my favorite Disney legend, Joe Rody.
Oh yeah,
It's my Animal Kingdom Disney legend. That just tells you why I love him. I mean, Pandora is probably my favorite place on Disney property, on Walt Disney World property. I love going in there after dark. That's the only thing I don't love about Animal Kingdom is they don't keep it open late enough. Because when they used to, Pandora at night is like walking into a whole different world. It's
just go in
absolutely
December
incredible.
whenever it gets dark
Well,
around 5 o'clock.
yes, but still.
Yeah. But I've heard him interviews of Joe Rody talking about how they built that place and how they made the floating islands and everything.
Oh,
And it's artistic and architectural genius of the combination of that.
yeah.
All right. So now in the different resorts they have music too. At Disney Springs they have special music and downtown Disney if you're out in Disneyland. So we're not going to go into all of that because it's again along the same lines of either it's music that is from Disney movies that is themed towards whatever the hotel or the area is themed to, or some of them they made new music. So it's just more of the same. Nothing that really stands out though of unique. But now it's time for the hard hitting questions. All right, Amanda, favorite music at Disney. And Katie, you get a little bit of time to think. So unless you want
I
Katie to go
have to
first, Amanda.
say, let's see. My favorite music at Disney is okay. I This is a very niche favorite music at Disney. So my favorite music at Disney is the Christmas fireworks music at Walt Disney World at the Christmas party.
That's a good one.
It just, we always used to go at Christmas time with my family for one of our annual, we went more than once a year, but for an annual trip, we always used to go at Disney and go to the Christmas party. And that music, even though they've updated the show, that music, they've kept a lot of the same elements. So it's just nostalgic for me. And it feels like home. It really does. And I can recognize that anywhere that I am. And it's the same music. It just, I don't know. There's something about it. I love it.
Katie?
Okay, so mine is not an actual song or even like an actual, so like I think back to all of my trips with my kids and stuff like that. And whatever was like the thing that they would get off and sing,
Mm.
like for like the entirety of the day. Like I remember a trip we took with Ava, and she was like 18 months old, so she wasn't even two yet. But we had her all set up and cozy back at the hotel, in a little cot and stuff like that. And we were just about ready to fall asleep, and we heard her like go through the entirety of the day and the things, and like she's like, and then a yo ho, and then this, and like so. And then you come home and it's still like your little one is still running around the house, like singing something, like it just comes up and it like extends the magic of the trip and like makes you immediately call one of us to go ahead and book you another one, right? Like I just like it is. We've talked about it the first, but the music in Disney makes the attraction just and the parks just so much better.
Amen. Preach.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Your favorite song is the one that your kid keeps singing afterwards because it
Yeah.
made an impression on them.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? Is that memories aren't just like visual. Memories aren't like, and I say this a lot, but I think that like a photo is great. Music that you remember is great. Taste is wonderful, but memories are all encompassing and are all of the senses, right? So if you think of your favorite memories, like the Christmas morning, it's probably not just the chatter of people unwrapping presents around you. It probably has to do with like one of like your favorite dishes being like pulled out of the oven and like the visual of everybody together and cozy. And that's like what like a good trip is. A good trip is all of those memories, all of those feelings, all of those senses all rolled into one.
Mm.
Good call. I think I'll pull out Yo Ho, Pirates of the Caribbean, or Pirates of the Caribbean, however you want to pronounce it, where you want to put your emphasis on which syllable. Um, Grim Grinning Ghost is up there, but I just cannot say those words. It just goes by way too much. I can sing Yo Ho, sort of. So that's why I'm going to go with that. Although, as I mentioned too, any of the John Williams music, either from Star Wars or Indiana Jones or the other millions of movies that he's made music for. So, Amanda, what is your travel tip?
So I'd say my best travel tip, especially for Disney, is prep your feet. I just had a client come back and we talked about it and she did not prep and yeah, she's regretting it. And on that note, also don't wear new shoes to Disney ever.
Make sure they're broken in.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
Unless you like blisters.
Oh yeah. And blister tape.
Oh, yeah. Moleskin. It's a
Moleskin.
lifesaver.
Yeah.
Katie?
Oh, so my best travel tip. Okay, so this is my just got back from this epic cruise and had such a good time. And I turned to my husband the other night and I was like, I'm a hoarder. And he was like, well, let's talk about it. I've seen your shoes in the closet. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about photos and videos. I have over 11,000 pictures on my phone right now. And so my best bet, my best like tip, and like I found myself on this cruise having to delete some things because I wanted, and then I was like, it was almost like I was getting rid of my favorite pair of shoes. So have like a plan of like good photo storage, good like video storage, places that you can put these things because I guarantee you that like even like that photo that you might not love now, like 10 years down the line, you're gonna be like, I wish I had a photo of that person that I loved doing this. So
That's good. I know my wife's the same way that she has millions of pictures on her phone. For me, I'm the complete opposite. I have almost none on my phone because after I take them, I transfer them to computer or um, external hard drive or put them on the cloud somewhere. But I have them all stored in some way, shape, or form. So, but that's a good one. For mine, I mentioned this in many other episodes, to keep your eyes open when you're at Disney. And this time again, we kind of mentioned it here, is keep your ears open, that you get to hear these instrumentals versions of your favorite songs. And it could be Disney songs, it might be Christmas songs around the holidays, it might be something new that you just feel like it fits. And again, it puts you in the story, and it makes the theme of wherever you are in the park. And it's we said before, it's like a movie soundtrack that it's missing if it's not there. But the right music is just it fits. It enhances the story. It makes it better. And so when, even if you're not conscious of it, you're going to hear it. But then whenever you actually pay attention, like, oh yeah, and then I think it does something that it makes your trip better, that you recognize and you appreciate these little nuances that you're going to see. So again, it's down to the details of Disney. So if you have a destination or experience that you'd like to have us discuss on the Where Yinz Go podcast, or if you'd like to share your feedback, or have a favorite destination or a travel tip you'd like to tell us, please let us know. We'd love to hear your ideas and what you have to say. Amanda, how can people get a hold of you?
I can be found on both Facebook and Instagram, Amanda, or I'm sorry, Dreams by Design Travel with Amanda. And then email amanda@dreamsbydesigntravel.com.
Now you can reach the show. We are on both Facebook and X now. So if you look up Where Yinz Goin, where Yinz is spelled YINZ and Goin GOIN with a little apostrophe. Don't worry, all this information will be in the episode description. So if you want to contact us to book a trip or have any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. You don't have to worry about spelling or writing it down now or having a photographic memory. You can just look it up. Ladies, this was a lot of fun to take this auditory journey through the Disney parks.
Yeah, this is great.
So please like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend. If you like what you heard, please let others know. We'd like to get the word out about what we're doing here and share the joy. You found us obviously on a podcast somewhere, but you can find us pretty much anywhere you get podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, whatever. We're all over the place. So please tell other people about us. So join us next time. We're heading out that. We'll see you later.